What's up, old school metal vinyl fanboys? Welcome back to the channel. Nuclear death. Oh my goodness. Why do I need to talk about nuclear death? Why is my life so miserable? Well, the answer is pretty simple. I sold the LP we're about to discuss today, and just like that, I have to talk about it because that's my last chance to do so. But nuclear death, I mean, I'm already laughing my ass off because I know that this episode is gonna cost me a few dozen followers as well as some love messages in the comment section. And just like that, I'll have to cope, I guess, because I am an antifa soy boy. What do I know about metal? Absolutely nothing, so I deserve all the hatred. Now, you might remember how a couple of weeks ago I dedicated an episode to that lame death thrash metal band called Reaping Corpse from the US and their one and luckily only album. Dreaming with the Dead, calling it the worst death metal album of all times. Now, I was sorry mistaken because that title belongs to either of the releases that Nuclear Death put out. Somehow, I had completely removed the existence of this terrible excuse for a band from my brain. Now, Nuclear Death compared to makes like Ripping Corpse sound like Beethoven by comparison. That's how bad Nuclear Death are. Now, the LP we're about to take a look at today is The Bride of Insect, which was released in 1990 on Wild RECS Records, possibly the worst metal label of all times. Releasing the worst death metal album of all times makes perfect sense. Now, my first confrontation with Nuclear Death came in the form of their sophomore album Carry On for Worm, because guess what? There was a demand for a second album after this. The debut was not bad enough. There was a demand for a second album, which turned out even worse if possible. Like I should flip the coin to tell if Bride of Insect is worse or better than Carry On for Worm or vice versa. Whatever. I remember acquiring Carry On for Worm in 1994. That must have been, and I was not surprised by that label. That record scored some pretty miserable reviews on the specialized press, and I was not surprised to find out that there was a reason for such bad reviews, because the album was a pile of trash. Like, even for a die-hard metal fanboy like myself at that time, I used to buy pretty much anything had a death metal tag on it, no matter if bad or good. Even for my standards, that album was just impossible to bear. And just like that, I sold it like after a couple of weeks, and don't remember if I sold it or traded, but I mean, it was no longer in my collection. But just like that, since I'm an incredibly stupid person, I decided to give this band a second chance. And a couple of years later, I acquired the Bride of Insect album from a German mail order, which is sadly not around anymore, for like 20 German marks, which would be like 25 euros once adjusted for inflation. I was like, maybe I was too harsh on Carry On for War. Maybe I should give this band another chance, because for all I know, maybe they were on fire on their first album. Usually the first album by any given band is always the best in their discography. So yeah, let me spend 20 German marks on Bride of Insect. And just like that, I should have been better off giving that money for free to a homeless guy or something, because this album absolutely stinks. It's a pile of crap. That's the best definition I can come up with to describe the absolute abomination that this album is all about. There isn't one single redeeming quality about this LP. Like, look at the cover artwork. Like, what is going on in here? Please tell me. Like, I want to know what kind of drugs the guy who painted this incredibly cheap drawing was on, because must have been some pretty heavy shit. Like, what is going on in here? Like, you have this giant spider with long hair looking down on what looks to be a nun, or is it the Holy Virgin? I don't know, who is apparently licking off a dead fetus. Then you have some little kid severing his arm off. Then you have a bat hanging on out there. Then you have a guy on a swing. I mean, what the hell is going on in here? This is so lame. I mean, who drew this? Like Philip Hedgenson, something like that. I have no idea. If you have more precise info about this very talented artist, let me know down in the comments. Musically speaking, I hadn't played this album in like probably 10 years. It was collecting dust on my shelves, and just like that I decided to sell it. Found someone crazy enough to give me 100 euro for this pile of shit. Whatever. Musically speaking, this is just yeah, unbearable. Even for my standards, this is just there's no way you can possibly like this album. I struggled to get to the end of the record. Couldn't find one single song that somehow stick to my mind. So, dare to say, not even one single riff that actually made an impression that it made me say, okay, this sounds pretty cool. Let's see where this is leading to. No, absolutely nothing. Vocals courtesy of Miss Lori Bravo, which I remember they had a girl behind the microphone, but I dare anyone to tell that there is an actual woman behind this. The vocals of this LP, because she sounds like a possessed demon. I don't know, like a drunk maniac or whatever. Probably, I don't know, by death metal standards, this should be a compliment, I guess. But yeah, I mean, vocals, everything is so sloppy and disjointed and mediocre about this album. It's really, like a confused chaos. It's more like it has more to do with noise than with music, in my humble opinion. That's how bad it is. So definitely not an album I'm about to regret selling. There should be a lyrics sheet included somewhere, I think, as well as a catalog. Yeah, let me talk also about the catalog. Let's see if this lyrics sheet is still there. Yep, it's still here. There's a catalog included of like Wild RECS releases. Now, Wild RECS, in my opinion, the worst metal label of all times. Like, I want to know if you enjoy any Wild RECS releases, please post your picture somewhere. I want to know what you look like, because there's no way you can possibly be an annihilator fanboy or a recipients of that. If your favorite band is recipients of that, please show me what you look like. I'm genuinely interested into knowing that. No, I mean, all jokes aside, the choice of bands that this label signed was so miserable. Like, the only band that I somehow liked was Blood, the German death metal band. I could probably stand Blood for like 5 minutes straight without puking. Yeah. Other than that, really nothing catches my interest on here. Like, this is it was really a terrible time. Like, it's let me open a parenthesis in here. Like, a lot of people tend to, I see a lot of like older guys claiming that the old days were so much better. They seem to forget that the old days were also full of shit. Like, I mean, who really wants to go back to the times when you had to, spend 2 hours in the local post office to send these things called international money orders to order a record? I mean, I certainly don't want to go back to those times. Like, also the amount of rip-offs you had back then, it was just unbearable. Like, I lost a lot of money on, records which I had, sent this money inside letter thing, and then you had to wait 2 months hoping that something would magically pop out of your mailbox. I lost a considerable amount of money on the people who just never bothered to send anything. And Wild Rags had a reputation of being one such label that just wouldn't send you anything for the money you send them. So, I mean, just like that, yeah, I mean, when I see people in their like mid 20s, early 30s glorifying the early 90s, I do understand, that a lot of death metal classics were spawned, but trust me, the scene was pretty miserable back in the day, like full of rip-offs, full of things you really don't want to experience. As flawed as PayPal might be these days, it's certainly a much better option than sending money in a letter or spending your whole morning in a post office to send some money on to the other side of the world. What else to be added? Now, Nuclear Death, in all honesty, got some recognition over the last years. Now, I don't know why exactly. My educated guess is that the crap of those days is still considerably better than the average black metal which is produced these days. Like, if you compare Nuclear Death to perhaps, I don't know, Drone in the Light or Satanic Tube Master, maybe, like, you might argue that Nuclear Death isn't all that bad, but, like, if that's a thermal comparison, then pretty much anything, including my cat's shit, is, worth of respect. So, yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, guys, let me know down in the comments what am I missing out on this band, what is their big quality which I just failed to see. This is, as I said before, like probably my least favorite LP in my collection. I have this, nightmare of being stuck to a desert island with only nuclear death and ripping corpse as my music of choice. Like, imagine, like, there must be a universe somewhere where I am stuck in a desert island with only the nuclear death albums and ripping corpse. Now, that would probably consider, that would make me consider really harsh choices. Like, I would rather be stuck in Guantanamo or something. And I'm fairly sure that they use this music as a tool of torture for the inmates there. So guys, yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, please let me know down in the comments again if you honestly like this band. Maybe I was too harsh on them. I hope I didn't offend anyone. Try to, take my views with a grain of salt. I'm not being perfectly, serious in here, and that my sense of humor is kind of fucked up. So yeah, feel free to let me know if you disagree with me. Try to be as polite as possible, because I know that some of you guys absolutely hate me, and just like that, this is a channel all about musical discussion, so any opinion, as long as it's expressed in a polite form, is well accepted. So till the next time, keep it loud and heavy.